DreamHack Open is brought to you by Astro, Monster Energy, Corsair, Hacks, and GGBet.
And we are back here for our second semifinal in Valencia. DreamHack Open has come to Spain yet again, and well, little did we know, we have chocolate thanks to the Spanish. A fun fact about Spain is that thanks to the colonies that the Spaniards established in the American continent and their relations with North Africa, today we can all enjoy oranges, avocados, cocoa, potatoes, and sugar, as well as some excellent Counter-Strike here on the last day of the DreamHack Open Valencia. My name is Trace Saranthus. I'm on the desk with you today, as of yesterday and the day before that. And, of course, to my left, I have the dynamic duo that is now Bleh and Chad.
When I'm wearing these shirts, it's Spud Flanagan.
Spud Flanagan.
Yeah, that's my alter ego. But does that mean we can blame the Spaniards for bringing sugar and thus the obesity crisis to North America?
And potatoes at the same time.
Yeah, I think if you put those two together, yeah. But
potatoes
also,
and sugar.
Oranges have gone a long way in
That's how you stop scurvy.
In the aiding of fighting off sickness.
Yeah, like scurvy. Because you get that on ships. If you're on a boat for too long and you're not having enough vitamin C.
But it can have lemons as well.
Well, hey, I tell you what, Chad, hold on to your sea legs. Hold on to your sea legs. Let's, we're going to be taking a look at the brackets. That's going to be the next thing here so that you can understand exactly where we are sitting right now. We just watched the Fraxters fall to North, and North will be marching forward onto the grand finals. Now, we do have our second semifinal, Heroic versus Luminosity. Both teams expected to have made it this far. Wasn't quite an easy path for Luminosity. They did take the extended long route.
Yeah, and they had a bit of a back-and-forth series with that of G2 yesterday where they exchanged opening maps. I thought after they'd won D2, which was that of G2's pick, they were just going to be able to convert Mirage, which is a map which lends itself more to the Brazilians than that of the Frenchmen. However, it went the distance. It was probably the most exciting game, I think, of the tournament so far. Maybe not the best Counter-Strike, but in terms of the back-and-forth nature. And I think we've learned a lot about the style that Luminosity are using to play with in this event from that series.
Yeah, just playmakers everywhere, right? Like every day you had Yell show up on day one, you had Henny show up, then yesterday Nick is like played out of his mind, right? So I think it's going to be a clash of play styles, so to speak. So from watching Heroic play, of course, we've only seen two best of ones from them. We saw them beat Ago and North very convincingly. And almost looked flawless the way they were playing their CD side, their T side. Everything was very structured, very controlled. S-Stack seemed to be finally finding his spot in the team. He's opping really well as well. And they're going to be facing off against a team who makes so many mistakes, yet are so fun to watch.
Yeah, I think one of the things to notice as well with the Heroic roster is their communication must really be on point, because in a lot of situations, they all seem to be on the same page, and they were doing a lot of retakes as well, which means you need communication to be bang on.
Can you guys smell that?
Can you smell what the rock is cooking?
No, not quite.
Smell the food.
It's the vetoes. We got the map vetoes coming through here. Chad, don't get ahead of yourself. Lunch did just arrive. Nuke and Inferno, the first bands coming out here, and we're going to see what the first map played is going to be.
Or Mirage, I assume, with the pick B. Okay, these are very safe bans. These are the perma bans of both these teams. And Train and Mirage, they're going for very safe picks. And I would assume that we're going to be seeing Overpass here. Hero might just let Overpass through.
We've seen a lot of Train this tournament. You have to see a Cage come through at all.
And we're going to see Cage.
Okay, so if we go the distance, that's the first time we're going to see that throughout this tournament, which could be interesting. I think it lends itself to both teams and individuals making plays. When you start off on Train, though, a lot of pressure, has to fall on the shoulders of the AWP players. And at this point, we sound like a broken record. But when you look towards Heroic roster losing Yugi, and now S-Tag has stepped up to take that position, he's impressed me throughout the way that he's able to apply himself with that weapon. He's actually looking very good. And I think throughout that team, you look at the other members in there, obviously Asylin is the new in-game leader. There's a lot more structure for him to potentially use that AWP in. And then on the other side of things, that double AWP setup with Yell and old mate Henny is very potent.
Old mate Henny, a guy back in the server and doing work. And actually, we had a chance yesterday to catch up with these semifinalists and hear what they had to say. So let's just go ahead and jump right into that.
So right now I'm feeling super happy because G2 like played super well on the last tournament and it was like a big one, yes, I won Cologne. So beating them on a best of 1, then beating them on a best of 3, it's super good. Like it's gonna help a lot on our confidence for sure.
Help us on the way. Still 1v2 though. Oh, that's perfect from him. 1v1 now against Smiths. Has a Molotov to shut down short as well, but will it be in time? Hold your breath. Ladies and gentlemen, Steel has done it.
The most important thing is that we are having fun while we're playing. Doesn't matter if the game is close or not. We are playing Counter-Strike as we used to do when it was a hobby. And I think this is the key that is making us like winning matches against good teams.
Actually, we haven't practiced that much for this tournament. Obviously, I just came into the team, and yeah, we have only actually had like 3 practice days total together, so the preparation haven't really been there. But I think us Danes, we know like how each other play, so like we are kind of used to each other's play style. And I, of course, as well, I have watched Heroic play in the past, so.
Freiburg holding passive, 5 seconds on the defuse. Freiburg's dropped his teammate, he has to take this peak, and it's over. Freiburg's done it.
I think the preparation, I mean, talking about Counter-Strike, it has been the same. But one thing that is helping us is the addition of the twins because they didn't play for a long time. And because of them, they're like super hungry for Counter-Strike. They're like hungry for winning and like proving themselves and to the community, which has been like super harsh on them.
It couldn't be better because like you're the new guy, you come in and already we have made a pretty good result. So I mean, of course I'm really happy. So I'm just fully focused on winning the tournament.
I'm sure it's going to be hard as always, but so we're going to give our best. And to be honest, I'm feeling confident. And let's see how it goes tomorrow.
Let's see how it goes tomorrow is just, oh my goodness, it's all falling apart. The roof has come down. I'm kidding. It was actually just a catering lid. There's nobody even over there.
No, it was the ghost. And you know what the ghost is? The ghost of these teams having practiced it once in their life. If I hear another team in a tournament, literally no team in this tournament has gone, yeah, you know, we're feeling confident, we practiced a lot. The narrative of this event is, oh, yeah, you know, preparation wasn't very good, or we've got to stand in, or we just walked in the door. And yet, if everybody hasn't prepared, then everybody's prepared. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense, but it makes sense.
Yeah, man. Something about that logic really does tune it in. Sort of like this Heroic lineup. They brought Asilian in, and he's kind of taken the reins over and said, hey, you know what? We're going to start playing this way. I'm going to pick where we eat. This is how it's going to be. But what else do we know about Heroic?
Do you think as well, though, he took the biggest guy, Freiburg, and pushed him up against the wall and like slapped him, like prison-type stuff? Or do you think it was a bit more?
Look, I'd like to think...
More like waterboarding?
Yeah, in the Bahamas.
Look,
oh, wait, no.
Freiburg is a big teddy bear. Like this guy...
So you're saying Asilian didn't walk in, push him up against the wall and slap him and say, I'm the captain now?
There's no way.
Okay. Well, they're all friends here. But, you know, when Freiburg's trying, teams with him on are winning. And I've heard he's been trying lately, so there's a good chance for Heroic to take this one.
Here's the thing with Heroic, right? Like, Asilian's pretty young, right? He's coming as an in-game leader and whatnot, but he's got a lot of people with experience in that lineup, right? We have Freiburg, legend in his own rights, and we have, of course, Modi, who's been playing forever, and then Nico, Nestak, younger players altogether, but I think he has a lot of help, and the fact that they've chosen him to be an in-game leader, one would assume, you know, when he's just coming as an in-game leader and all young players, you have to start building a system altogether. You got to work with them. You would know better than I do, obviously. But when you already have kind of a system in place, and you have Modi and Freiburg telling you, all right, this works, this doesn't work, you know, giving them all the information early on. I think, you know, we've seen the results real quickly. They just had 3 days of practice, but they've been looking very solid overall.
Yeah, the individuals have all been fragging, right? It seemed like a team effort from that of Heroic. It doesn't necessarily feel like it has been one player carrying the squad. Everyone's had their clutch moments. Everybody, you know, when they hit bomb sites, they're trading very efficiently. And those are positive signs going into this game.
And we could talk about this Luminosity lineup because actually, if I think about it, we talk about the Twins, we talk about Steel. Nekas has gone off this event. He's done a fantastic job in the server, as well as Yell.
Yeah, but these guys have kind of had sporadically their own moments, right? They've obviously had to play more games, and individuals have stepped up to turn certain games around or turn them on their heads with big clutches like that 3v1 from Steel we saw in Dust 2 versus G2 yesterday. All of these moments have kind of culminated in getting them to this point, and Steel basically, he did an interview where he said, you know, it can be difficult to play a loose style, which is true because it's almost like playing with fire. If the individuals don't show up and you're not winning those clutch rounds, you don't really have a lot else to go off, and you can see that their play style, sure, it is based around people making plays, but it's also very loose and contact style as well. There isn't a huge lot of strategy. It's not the well-orchestrated dry run set pieces that we love to see from the nerdy strategical side of Counter-Strike. It's individuals doing crazy things and getting us to jump up with madness.
And in this team in particular, right, this event in particular rather, they have been the most exciting team to watch, at the same time the most frustrating. Like, even if you have a free-flowing play style, even if you're going for a contact plays and whatnot, you kind of expect, you know, players to go for maybe, you know, pair work, for example, just try and pop flash your teammate inside, a little bit of coordination here and there. But these guys just going in YOLO, all in, you know, just committing to a 1v3 fight for no reason whatsoever. Luckily for them, they're hitting some nutty shots, and if everyone shows up, no matter how good Heroic are going to be, it's going to be a hard time for the Danes, for the Danish-Swedish mix, right?
Yeah, definitely so. I think it's one thing that they haven't been punished on either, right? There were signs of it in certain matches where they were getting taken down and then capitalized on, but for the overall picture, they haven't really been shut down in that regard, so they're going to keep that play style up. And I think to note on what Steel said about bringing the twins in, you're going to see one of them on your screen right here. What they also bring, as well as flair and a bit of tenacity, is passion to the game, and he touched on that point, but they're very flary. It's the old style type of Counter-Strike, which is also a roller coaster of emotions, right? You have very high highs and very low lows, but when it's working, when the momentum's flowing, players like Henny can just continue to snowball with the AWP.
And looking at this head-to-head, you might notice, like, okay, why do we pick S-Tag and Henny? S-Tag's stats are not even that. It's because they played less games.
Yeah, he's just played two best of ones.
Make sure that's very clear. Henny and them did play yesterday, so obviously the numbers are going to be just a little off, but the impact is certainly there, and that's why those two players are picked.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think S-Tag, as well as a player, has some really good movement to look out for. So these two players in the head-to-head are similar with playing the AWP. Henny maybe a little bit more flary, but S-Tag has impressed throughout for me, and he's definitely been on the rise.
And you can go head-to-head with your fellow Twitch chatters using !Hero or !LG in the chat. Get your votes in, and well, if you guys could just stop Bible thumping for 5 seconds and get those votes in, then go back to all that crying, that's fine. But for now, I'm just going to need you to vote, and we'll go from there.
While they vote, I guess we'll take a look at the GG bet odds here, and it is stacked quite heavily in the favor of Heroic. I agree with this. I think they are the favorites going into this matchup. There are a lot of ifs and buts that go into the game for Luminosity. Now, we've already seen them beat a G2, who they really shouldn't have had any business beating, but that was off individuals stepping up and having amazing plays and bullying the weaknesses of G2.
So here's the thing also, right? With the teams they've beaten so far, like G2, for example, they didn't punish them enough. But then when they faced off with Fraxters and Inferno and they were doing all those crazy plays, they got, they actually beat G2 twice, right? So they got really punished. They haven't really faced off against the likes of a Heroic, the likes of a North, teams who will punish you for that more structured lineup, so to speak. So it's going to be a different ball game altogether.
A different ball game altogether. And usually when we're playing ball games around here, they don't necessarily settle in the way that you would like. Isn't that right, Chad?
Yeah, well, normally when I hit a golf ball and it lands in like in a sand trap, that's not the place I want the ball to be.
Okay, well, how about this? I want the ball to be in Blair's court, and that's exactly what we're going to do. 3 reasons by HackGG. Take it away, Blair.
First reason, 3 reasons why this is going to be a cracker of a game. First reason is going to be, of course, Luminosity's firepower, right? You have Henny, you have Lucas coming into this tournament, then you had Nekkers really show up, like just go off yesterday, and of course you had Yell as well having a great day on day 1. So just the firepower, I think this could be potentially the most stacked team in this tournament. The second reason is going to be, of course, Heroic have looked flawless so far. Both the wins they had were against pretty solid opponents like Ago, who were kind of favorites coming into this tournament. I think it was your favorite.
Yeah, I had them to win.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have North as well, who looked pretty solid altogether. They defeated them very, very convincingly. Everyone showing up, S-Attack, Modi, you know, Freiburg as well. It was like the system was in place. And the third reason, it's going to be the play styles. We're going to be seeing a very structured, you know, typical Scandinavian style of CS, like the Danish style of CS, so to speak, is going to be a very structured approach from Modi and Gang. And from Luminosity, it's going to be some frustrating CS, but at the same time, very exciting to watch, and at times, a little insane.
Thank you very much again, Blef, for that, and of course brought to you by HacksGG. Now, you talk about it being insane, and I think that's because we often see sort of that flashiness that you're talking about, but in the terms of like individual players attempting to make plays that sometimes can be fruitful and sometimes aren't fruitful. Either way, it is time for us to predict how this one is going to go down. And in order to do that, we're probably going to start with my man Sponge here. And Sponge, if you have anything you would like to say in your defense before you make this pick.
Wow, is there a jury or something? Okay, well, I think that this can definitely be a 3-map series. If we see the same level of Heroic on their CT sides playing quite retake and together, then look, they're going to be more poised as long as they don't get frustrated. Luminosity, it's really based on which stars show up today and how they're going to play in this scenario. I don't see...
You can't predict that.
No, but that's impossible to look at, right? Yeah. They are going to need their individuals to step up in the clutch moments because, like we touched on already, Heroic are going to be more structured, they're going to be playing more as a team, and they should just be able to take this one. But I think it could go 3, so I'm going with Heroic.
Okay, next victim.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Heroic as well, primarily because, like we just spoke about right now, there's no way you can predict who's going to really show up for Luminosity. Sure, you could have everyone show up, in which they might just win this. Yeah, they win. Or just one guy shows up and no one shows up, in which case Heroic system is going to really take them through. So, yeah, but it's going to be 3-mapper in my opinion. It's
going to be a 3-mapper. I actually think it's probably going to be 3 maps as well. But I'm going to side on the side of Luminosity, but mainly because of that explosiveness. If they can keep up this crazy form where they're hitting shots, and, you know, if all things willing, I can go against the grain, and sometimes it works out.
Well, as well as
that's
this,
exactly what I'm going to do.
As well as this, though, Trace, you really like it when Henny and Lucas are in grand finals at DreamHack Opens.
It's true.
Boy. Yeah, that's when you really enjoy the counter.
Little soon, Chad.
It's been a year.
It's only been 6 months plus. But let's take a look at what you at home thought, because we asked you to vote. I asked you to vote very nicely. You stopped crying for a few seconds. You put your votes in there, and you also think Luminosity is going to win. So, you know what? My heart's out to you. Thank you very much for supporting me, even though that you guys are going to go against me on that one. But yeah, you've done it. You've done everything I've asked for. And, of course, we couldn't do any of this without our friends at Snipe. Head over to dreamhack.com/digitalpass. Pick up a Snipe pass. Watch the multi-views. Watch it all. Chad, what am I missing, man?
A bit of backstage content from tournaments throughout the year, some insights. There's a guy on there, some Australian bloke, he does some interviews with players, gets all the good questions out there, deep Counter-Strike questions. So if you want to check that out, just head over that link.
Right. Deep Counter-Strike questions with Chad. Sounds like a content series you could potentially be putting out in the new production company that I will be introducing later in the broadcast.
Yes, indeed.
With that said, our commentators are sitting by and they're ready to get their last match underway. It's the last best of 3 of you boys. Anything you would like to say going to this one that is not negative on our behalf?
I'll keep my thoughts to myself then.
Nice. You guys take it away from here, and we're going to go back to where we sit.
Have fun. So, Hugo, we are here with our last best of 3.
Yes.
I'm excited for this one. I think Luminosity coming into this tournament actually really surprised me. You know what's bewildering is currently right now on HLTV, Luminosity is ranked lower than the Spanish Giants were.
Wow.
55-58. So I feel like the rankings tell of a tale that has been blown out of the water here this weekend.
Taking into account, it was mentioned on the desk, we have had this downtime for Henny and Lucas where they've just been chilling. They've been enjoying their time back in Brazil, and we haven't quite seen them playing CS for a few months. So of course, this is going to have some impact in rankings in terms of individual player points, I guess. One thing I would note as well for both these teams, obviously being LAN debut with both these rosters, that I'm kind of excited by is it's hard to lean towards because we've had such a small sample size of games, but across every map that these teams have played at this event, there's been no consistent top fragger. As was said on the desk, Neckers went off yesterday. Steel destroyed on the first day. We've had Henny and Lucas up and down. And even on the side of Heroic, Freiburg and Asilian were the mad fraggers on day 1, but then it was Nico and S-Tag on their second matchup. So it's very hard to tell who we're going to see step up. It's very hard to tell which way this is going to go. I myself leaning in favor of Luminosity. I think these guys have got so much experience, and I'm excited to see them bring it to the stage here. The second semi-final of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for these 2 teams. The winner of this is going to be going up to face North in the grand final later on today.
Well, this is a quick pistol round. They are just going to be flooding into the B-bomb site where Henny looks to hide. You're going to get 2 points of contact with USPs at a distance, so this is definitely going to play into the hands of Henny because I think these teams will assume it's clear when in reality he is here. And he's putting down the damage already. He's managed to keep himself alive so that Steel can swoop in from above, and all of a sudden it falls to Asilian, and he is also dead. What a pistol from Luminosity. They set up the trap and they sprung it superbly.
Yeah, fantastic start here on their CT side as well of this map. The maps, for those unaware as well, Train, Mirage, and then Cache to follow.
Cache.
No. We've got some a very team-based map followed by a couple of puggy ones coming up later. So I think this is definitely looking like a 3-mapper, but let's find out where this is going. Second round in for Luminosity. Couple of rifles here and there. We've got Heroic on that force. No bomb plant in that first round means that they have a bit more money to invest, but it will amount to nothing, at least for now. Steel shut down Asilion on Ivy and just run back with the man advantage.
No reason to overface there. I'm very curious to see what Heroic have in store for this round, seeing as we do have that double smoke, double flashbang, and currently a double man setup on both Ivy and T-Con. So, just curiously, Maudie and Esatag are currently split up. All right, so each of these duos has one smoke grenade and one flashbang to their name. It could be a simultaneous execute. But right now, the first set is out. That's the smoke over towards Deep Ivy. Going to block off one man and one man alone. Steel, who is quite omnipresent in this position, continues to just scatter shots through smoke, trying to get himself an additional kill, but it's a dink onto him and a bomb at his feet. That's quite the reward. Fruits of his labor as he tries to lock down Ivy. Eventually he dies. Freiburg will get something in, and in the meantime, everybody else has gone the way of the wind. Henny seals the deal, 2-0.
Yeah, 4 players alive for Luminosity as well, so they're starting to build up that money early on into the game. Utility from Heroic is not going to find too much here, and now we have even less coming through. It's just going to be Glocks and maybe some slight investments on PT50s, but with everyone on 2000 and S-Tag saving for the AWP, we don't really want any over-investments here from Heroic. Go for a fast B play, shuffle through Pop Dog, trying to get this round over and done with. You may just see that plant attempt on the B side, but with Yell close up with a lot of utility, plus a teammate for support, this could be an absolute massacre. Let the bodies hit the floor, and Yell will do exactly that. Steel overwhelmed slightly, but it is only Glock, so he's going to retrieve the bomb once again. And not the round just yet.
Quick little headshot off of the Glock gives Maudie something to work with. He's picked up an M4 now. He could face Nekes, who's going to be out into the open. Yeah, off angle. Doesn't predict the open position, so that's an easy cleanup. But still casualties there. A couple of guys go to the dirt.
Can go a long way when Heroic get their first rifle round. If they can keep up the pressure every single time and take 2-3 players down, and then eventually they'll get a rifle round, Luminosity won't have the money to fully invest. That's why sometimes you can see, you know, just one round forcing another team to a full eco, although it's typically a force. S-Tag here on the AWP, and we got one per either side now. He posts up quickly, and that's the opening frag coming through. There's already a lot of hype about this player, at least recently moving to the AWP with the departure of Yugi, and he's been great so far at this event. And that's a great start to the round as well, considering Luminosity have a double AWP intact. That's exactly what you want to do if you're Heroic.
Quick shot downwards. Lucas then reveals himself from just inside the corner with an assist at the Steel. But it's Asilion who robs one back. A headshot right between the eyes. 3v3 set to unfold here. It still seems like Heroic will leave an anchor at the B site. You don't want those CTs coming up from behind you. And Freiburg is looking to predict Steel's push, but Steel holds patient. Ice cold at the bottom of the B site.
Shame to see Lucas kind of get hung out to dry there. After Steel dropped back down and Nekes got taken, it was a bit of an awkward angle to hold off. You kind of had to commit to that position up ramp if you are Lucas, and no one there to bail him out with utility, despite Steel having a little bit of it. He's now put Heroic back into the 3-on-3. Stagnant for now, but it will be that B site, or at least it should be, judging by the current positions that they want to commit to. And with a couple of smokes and a Molotov here, they've got enough to get themselves out into that bomb site. But the problem is, Henny's beginning to rotate, and he's got the AWP as well. They can smoke him off, but he's still going to have some sight line.
It's down ramp, all three will go. Steel revealed from the back of the bomb site, and he's just going to get an easy picking. Esatag caught off the last man tag. Freiburg with a headshot's got something to say, but Yell will deny him any chance to speak his mind.
That's a really weird round there from Heroic, right? You already know they have at least one AWP, not aware of the double AWP, but regardless, you have 2 smokes, a Molotov and a flashbang, and you don't use a single bit of utility when you run out ramp. You just run to your death, and of course the AWP is going to pick up those kills. Heroic, definitely questionable there, because now it's going to come back to haunt them. They've been put down to pistols themselves, although plenty more nades. However, it won't account for a round, really, and even a bomb plant isn't going to pay back their initial investment because we've got armor as well on 3 of these players. Luminosity already moving into aggressive positions. Neckers is taking control towards a pop dog. 2 players down Ivy here for Luminosity, just trying to get in the face of Heroic. But nothing found just yet with all these Ts outside the pop dog, ready to drop in, and Neckers on the other side. He is going to be pressured. Surely can't get every kill here. There's so many Ts.
Ooh, perfect flashbang as well, so that's an easy cleanup from Madi. Got that M4 now in the hands of a man on armor. Freiberg caught by the fact that he's throwing out grenades, and Yell's gonna know that there's nobody there. Lucas not looking to just duel with his gun, but rather put down a Molotov in response to some kind of a pressure, which is now most certainly inbound because there's not that much utility here for Heroic, and they're gonna expend most of it on the entry. In fact, they expend all of it, literally all of it. It all goes down, and they then fall into the bomb site. The bomb's the last man in, and so the plant's insured, but they have to be wary about the flank, Hugo. It's not coming in quick. These players still willing to fight up close, but they have to be awfully cautious because the danger's looming near.
Oh, almost a headshot there from Henny. He does catch a player, at least with the information, but Luminosity needs to speed up. They're still just holding back for the time being, and now they've lost another man. Eventually, Henny diving in with a kill. He doubles it up, but they've still got to move fast. Need to get on this bomb sooner rather than later, and Henny's found all the kills required. Luminosity going to get that defuse, and a fun little factor there as well that I noticed from Heroic is something I initially saw from MSL and North was when Neckers was down on that pop dog, what Heroic did is they shot the windows out above the pop dog while throwing the flashbang. Therefore, because the window breaking is making a noise, he didn't hear the click of the flashbang being deployed and therefore didn't turn around, resulting in his death. So nice way from Heroic to try and grab a man advantage, but again, with only pistols, it will not account to a round.
Smooth start here from Luminosity. But a nice full flush buy from Heroic. Everything they could ask for, and already early contact being thrown out towards the T-Con with a volley of grenades over the top. I did like that in the last round, Luminosity relaxed with all of that grenades coming forward. It's like they relied on their ability to go for the retake, and it was ensured by the fact that they had that wraparound. If there was a player from Heroic controlling the ladder room, then all of a sudden things could have been a little more in question. But here comes the A play. It's going to be 2 quick kills off of the back line, and Neckers locks down the E-box. This is a clean sweep in the first gun round. That looked, it could have gone well. That's the thing. They had a 5v5, and then it just turned empty. And
then that's the desk, exactly what they said in terms of if everyone steps up, then this could be a Luminosity stealing away this matchup. Because again, full execute, flash is going through, Molotov smokes, everything placed well for Heroic, but every duel won by Luminosity. The X factor on this Brazilian roster, being their firepower, being their aggressive positioning, works out wonderfully, and they will pick up their 6th round, so still keeping things dominant. And with that, lots of money in the bank, something Heroic are definitely envious of. No bomb plant, despite having max loss bonus, and as a result, it's going to be a similar situation to just a couple of rounds ago. Pistols, maybe some armor, a couple of flashbangs and smokes here and there, but I don't think Luminosity are going to have too many problems with dealing that, especially considering they still have this double orb.
Always curious to see the situation when you have buys like this, and especially on a team like Heroic, right? Where does each of this bit of utility get allocated? Because we saw them go full-fledged onto the B bomb site. We saw them try and hit it hard on A. So I won't be surprised if they just go all in yet again and hope for that bomb plant. But we saw them be given a lot of space, actually, because Luminosity were sitting so far back in the B bomb site last time things did go there. And again, once more, they have no potential quick entry for Heroic. Unless somebody hits a long-range deagle shot straight to the eyes of Lucas, or somehow they win a duel versus Henny's op, this isn't going to go well for Heroic. Sure, take your bomb plant, that's fine, but it's going to come with losses. And instead, they all decide to commit to the duel. Now, that frag grenade could be big. Ooh, very little chip damage on everyone. It hits them, but not hard. And still, they continue on. They're going to be able to close that gap and plant bomb. Freiberg's going to go through smoke. And now he's got himself an upgrade into the AWP, not to mention the man advantage still here in the hands of Heroic. And you can see as these smokes begin to fade, Luminosity prime for the retake, but Freiberg's going to remove himself from the equation, from that front position, in order to secure the round. And sure enough, he takes Neckers down. So 4v2, still 3 Ts on pistols, but that doesn't matter because Luminosity looks scared. They don't know what's up. They don't know where to go. and their only options are forward or back. And now, forwards off the table. This is Heroic on the board.
And what a round for them to win. Their first on this T side is going to be off the back of pistols, and nice work from Freiburg with that deagle, and then the follow-up AWP shot. Luminosity not going to be too happy about losing that round, and Freiburg even gets away with the AWP, so he can throw that over to S-Tag, who just a couple of rounds ago was able to open up and find that first pick on the A site. I like the delayed smoke down ramp as well. Well, you shouldn't really be doing that in rifle rounds. Throwing that out in a pistol round where you actually don't smoke off the connector, you push down as the smoke is coming through, you may catch a Luminosity player with a Molotov out, throwing it down towards the ramp because they're seeing utility fly over. Heroic playing with timing there, and it will work out wonderfully as they find their first on this T side. S-Tag is on that AWP, and down towards Ivy, he's run boosted across. Steel has realized this aggressive position is maybe not the best of decisions with 3 on the other side. He's about to work that out pretty quickly. Does manage to fall back, and safely so.
Yeah, good on him diving out at that one moment, right? Just a second later, and Freiburg's got the shots in the spine. So he gets away unscathed. Only damage dished out as of yet versus Maudie. Steel's trying to keep these T's honest, but there's so many of them. I don't know if he anticipates the fact that there are 3 players here. And all the while, this could serve as a distraction for the men over towards the T-Con, but unfortunately for them, Luminosity have eyes set. Neck is not overly aggressive. Yell, with a scope up, has an advantage at distance. And Heroic, well, they're not playing T-Con whatsoever. Literally, those 2 players are just waiting for some kind of flank or push, and it's putting all of the pressure here on the Ivy play, which sure enough does seem to be fruitful. They're walking closer into the bomb site, but they've lost the actual bomb. Yell looking to lock it down, falls to Maudie. And Lucas now reveals his position towards the old bomb. And as the Molotov sails forward, he's already ahead of the curve, and Nekis locks down this E-box yet once more. This is exactly what we saw last time they went A.
A complete wipe down. Luminosity giving Heroic the boot to the face in a very clean round, only losing a single player on that attack, despite it being a very well-coordinated and well-timed split. Something that we know Heroic for is their ability to team play, to trade, to push effectively together. But apparently it's not a deterrent to Luminosity. They win every single fight. And nice isolation of those duels on that electric box. 2 players coming at you, able to separate them into separate 1v1s, and winning both of them is going to put Luminosity in a great spot. Combined with the fact that, yes, that is the reset now. So Heroic's money is going to be absolute trashed. With no bomb plant, they are working off whatever they've saved from that previous round win, and they only saved 2 guns taken into account. So what have we got? We've got AKs, we've got a CZ. Not really enough utility to be too proud of this one, but at least 2 players are kind of bailing the rest of Heroic out in that sense.
It's not enough utility to completely deter both of these AWP players, right? No. You've got 2 options to get past ops, either smoke them off or close the distance. We've seen them push forward on that B site, but this is a fast one. Look at him go. Oh. Heroic catching the A site by surprise. Finally, Neck is not able to lock down E-Box. And because of this, it's pushed Yell into a deeper position where, sure enough, he smokes. So the distance is covered, the smokes are down, and the man advantage is held here from Heroic.
And the bomb site, they're not even letting players back in. That flank from Popdog is going to be unsuccessful. Steel can't help. Yell still smoked. The Molotov only just landing, but it's too deep, and Nico still has an off angle to catch off both players pushing out from the connector and also from this old CT bomb. Not going to happen. Molotov missed there by Luminosity, and as a result, they have to run away. They have to sail out of this round and give Heroic their second. So a back-to-back reset force won by this T side. Luminosity crunching the numbers is not going to be good enough as Heroic find their second. And either way, money's fine for both teams now, and after taking a flawless one, it means Heroic are going to be able to fall back on their future money. However, this is still a slow start, Connor. 2 rounds T-side against 7. These next couple of rounds are going to dictate how it goes. If Luminosity can find, another reset here, maybe push Heroic down again, we could see a far more dominant half, but this is Heroic's opportunity to seize it right now. If we win the next 2, we can get back in this game and have a very strong T-side half.
I do really enjoy the call there from Asilian to just change up the face. It was so fast and so forward, and I was just the round prior going to mention how Nekis has been playing this E-Box so well that the entire side of that A bomb site has been belonging to Luminosity every single round. But the best way to counter an E-Box player is to hit him hard from ladder room, right? Because it's if you can just close both the left and right side of that corner, then all of a sudden you've got him pinched and he has no cover other than other teammates. But that was actually nullified by the fact they had those deep smokes. So they isolate Nekiz, they take him down so quickly, and then they all just flood forward, completely countering that deep position on Ivy from Yell. Really cool stuff. Good read, good play, and most importantly, quick entry. But Nekiz, well, it seems like he wants to take control of the situation this time. He's going to play a different off angle. Now, this is a position that's completely safe from the ladder room, right? So if they fixate on that portion of the map once more, it wouldn't have bothered him, but he's going to seek a gunfight. He's going to head forward, and that's to his demise. Esatag from behind the boxes emerges to the favor of Heroic. 5v4, and now they're going to walk up on Ivy.
Oh, but Heroic just jiggle peeking it. Freiburg spots that one player, I think. Yep, he knows. Didn't see the AWP, but luckily for him, it's actually fallen back, leaving just Steel alone. And yeah, Freiburg is fully aware of this one. May not know exactly where he is, but he contains him with a smoke, and a Molotov at his feet would be able to finish this frag without any worry. It's so obvious that Freiburg's ready for this position, but Steel, he's going to be the initiator here. He's waiting for Esatag to get here to join Freiburg, and no way Steel gets out of here alive. That would be a massive mistake from Heroic to allow him to retreat. The Molotov keeps him contained. In all of this time, no one else from Luminosity is coming to bail him out, and I'm so surprised that only now is the AWP beginning to move in. Here's Yell to try and support his teammate, and Heroic, they've just given up on that pick. They want nothing to do with it.
And they haven't moved elsewhere. That's the thing. It's like no one's come to really help Steel until Yell shows up, but nobody from Luminosity pushed up forward on the B site. Meanwhile, nobody from Heroic made a play elsewhere either. Both teams very much fixating on that duel and trying to get their team out of position, but because that burns off all this time, we're hitting the 15-second mark. If Henny gets that shot, then there are serious ramifications against Heroic. Now, all of a sudden, whether he knows it, he's being wrapped around. And he's got 7 seconds to still just lock down this bomb. If someone can deny the plant, then we're good to go, but Heroic still have a stake in this fight. It's getting spicy. Asilian pinned in to the bomb site itself, and then, of course, Freiburg's deeper towards the E-box. And Yell's looking for some kind of a movement. What are they waiting for? They want that Z player to come into fruition.
Oh, Asilian even catches the AWP now. Things are not looking good for Luminosity as Heroic have somehow pulled this back from in a very awkward position. Freiburg still hasn't been spotted. Asilian's repositioned. He will lose his duel, but now it's a question, where is Freiburg? There! And Lucas takes him down, and Luminosity somehow win that round. A last-second retake with a few seconds left on that defuse, and you can see how upset Freiburg is about that. I do not blame him. I don't know how Heroic lost that 2v2.
Yeah, it comes down to Lucas. Single-handedly Lucas. He picks up both of these frags, the first headshot just here over the train, and he predicts the position of Freiburg. It's the first thing he looks at, and it's exactly where Freiburg comes in from. If Lucas expects some kind of a ladder play, then Freiburg clears the bomb carrier, and while the kit would have been on site, there just wasn't enough time for Henny to close that gap. So, there you go, Heroic. They'll be given another opportunity to still come in with a buy, because again, they made that last near impossible round actually happen, but it's fast once more. Trying to push in, Yell, gonna get smoked off yet again. Nekiz cannot deny the plant. We've seen a very similar situation previous to this.
Difference is that there are CTs in the site right now, hiding around the smoke. Steel is gonna kill Asilian this time on the flank. And now Nekiz is still just being a nuisance the entire time, getting their attention to allow Steel to set up in main, go for this big flank. No one from Luminosity needs to make a play because it's basically all on Steel to try and find out the positions of these last two players, and he's done more than that. Damage to Modi, cornered here in the pop dog, and he's just going to run away. This round is done. Luminosity with a massive retake, all down to that flank from Steel.
Yeah, this is sick. Not only down to the flank from Steel, but more importantly, the only difference at the beginning of that push between the time it works from Heroic and this time when it completely falls flat is that Nekiz doesn't die on E-box, because Nekiz is further back inside of the bomb site, keeping himself alive. So sure enough, they're so primed for the retake, and then you add in this extra layer of Steel successfully on the flank. It goes from bad to worse for Heroic. 9-2 the score now as the Brazilians start to cement themselves here on train. A single AK for Modi should not be enough, but we've seen them work these B plants a time and time again.
Freiburg just tries to be a distraction down Ivy, burn this utility. The real push right here. Lucas set up with an HE grenade ready to go over the top. The second anyone is spotted, and there it is. Henny sees it. Nade is fantastic. A juicy bit of damage there to Esatag. 10 HP left, but he only has a Glock, so it's not a big problem. Modi, however, that is a big problem. He just sat an entire Molotov. Not sure what happened there, but burnt from 100 to 0.
And the only player with Kevlar, so while you still have your hands on an AK, aim punch now becomes a much bigger issue. And the player who picks up the gun is in fact the bomb carrier. So unless he puts that role on somebody else, it's not as though the AK can just sit in the back line and look to maybe pepper back the rotators. No, it's going to have to be within the explosive entry on the B site.
And that entry coming through right now, the smoke is down. Luminosity not going to be baited into believing anything just yet. No more Molotovs going through. They're waiting for contact before. And now, as the smoke begins to fade, they need to make a move. Vasilian's found that first entry kill on the AK, so things are looking up for Heroic. The bomb plant needs to come through here. And now, before Luminosity set up, they're already proving how good they are at the retakes. Yell missing some shots and only getting tags. And there's a finishing frag from S-Tag. Yell can't find any more. He's so low. And Nico's dropped another. There's only one man left up. It's Henny trying to find the 1v2 clutch on the back of the AWP, but he turns back around and he's got such a hard job to do.
Not to mention Nico has an advantage of the Deagle B USP, and there you have it again. They have worked these pistols magnificently. It looked ridiculous because two of the closest players towards the Z connector had such little health, and you could see that Yell, he wanted a rifleman to go in front of him so that the spray down damage should have been enough to clear both. But those pistol headshots, Hugo, were so fast. And this is the kill, I believe, versus Henny. Is it a boost? No,
oh, he was cornered. Oh, that makes sense.
I believe there was a boost there because Vasilian wasn't the front man, and yet somehow he gets the headshot. I think they boosted him on the railing with the AK, and he could have taken
a player from the back of the train.
Exactly.
Wow, we do have the double AWP still here for Luminosity, despite those pistol antics from Heroic, and double AWP for them, in fact, as well. Nico is posted. If Yell walks in here, there's no way he wins this fight. Not with a slow peek, at least. Again, this double setup down Ivy has not been tested before, but now we actually have a bit of a challenge. Henny dropping Freiberg. He's been solo on that position time after time, and that's the problem. There's no one there to trade, but I think, if anything, it's a good thing for Heroic, because with a double setup of Luminosity, an attempted trade would probably result in a death to Steel. And talk about death, Lucas looks to inflict that upon Heroic. They set up towards the A site, but he set up right behind them, and Nico's dead. Luminosity already with 2 men up.
And already a player down ladder, so it's not even though he can go back. This is just so damn successful. I love the way that they set up a rifleman with an AWP player on both extremities of the map. You had them trying to make contact in the box halls and then successfully making contact first over towards the Ivy side. So the double op setups playing dividends for Luminosity thus far. Madi looking to maybe drop another body with his efforts, but seems as though Yell has escaped him for the time being. Shut down at the end of the round, 10-3. And 2 of these 3 rounds from Heroic come off of just random pistol situations.
Yeah. And they've always been reset as well. Take that into account. We've not had any streaks of rounds for Heroics. And again, like, if they're not winning rifle rounds, that's not enough. You can't consistently win pistol rounds. It's not luck, but it's, well, as I said, inconsistent. Inconclusive, because 10-3 to Luminosity is a pretty dominant scoreline right now. Even on the CT side of this map, Heroic desperately looking to try and find 5, something to play with. A 12-3 would not be how you want to head into that second half, especially with the potential loss of a pistol round looming over you. Yell again down on Ivy alone this time, and the bait is perfect. One player jumps across, and S-Tag peeks right behind, so Yell's aim is drawn to the jumping player, allowing S-Tag to win that duel.
Now we're going to get the response from Luminosity, and it comes in the form of a creep through T-Con. Whoa! Luckily, there is 2 players there. And luckily for Heroic, all they do is lose one of their pistol arrows. Nico's still looking for some kind of a response, but S-Tag will find it in the meantime. Nekaz is in this weird position where they know he's still in here. He doesn't realize whether or not there's a player trying to find him, and in reality, there isn't. Nobody's giving chase. They're just going to prioritize that bomb plant as should be. Now, how do you get down the ladder room? Covering it with gunfire, falling into their death. The first falls, Steel all that remains here. And he's got the utility to try to get out, but he doesn't really have the HP to survive these duels. Should be an easy cleanup from Heroic unless Steel pulls a miracle out of somewhere. And instead, he'll pull himself out of the situation and walk back with his M4 in hand.
Yeah, this actually makes sense, because while Still has $6,000, look at everyone else's cash. It's pretty damn awful. And that's because it's been so back and forth. Yes, Heroic haven't been consistently winning rounds, but they have at least impeded on the economy growth of Luminosity. So this gun is actually going to make all the difference when it comes to dropping over a weapon here, because that's, again, Heroic finding another round off the back of Luminosity winning the previous, so no loss bonus there. Heroic at least finding that fourth. A fifth here would be the cherry on top. And I'm not sure if we're going to have this double orb, or we definitely won't actually, in fact, for Luminosity. So there's another thing leading in the favor of Heroic. These double setups, as you've been talking about with these orbs and rifles, again, continuing to be a nuisance, pushing up in main in that previous round with Henny and Steel. Very diverse here on the CT side from Luminosity, and showing why this is their map pick. They have a proactive CT side. They're confident in taking these battles and winning the vast majority of them.
I feel like we're still pretty par for the course, though.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a close matchup, assuming Heroic can maybe get a fifth, grab themselves the 16th round on top of it, and then use that momentum shift just like Luminosity have themselves. But the pause comes to a conclusion. Trying to air out any confusion as we move into the 15th and final of this first half. It's a nice solid buy from each side, although obviously some shortcomings from Luminosity here in the MP9 and Deagle. And a double op setup from Heroic for the first time ever. Or not, actually.
Yeah, we had that one round with Nico holding down towards B, trying to catch out Yell. But this time it's not silly. It's a bit of a switch. I'm not sure if that's based off spawn, but he's still got it. Don't really see this man AWP a lot. So I'm interested by the decision here for Heroic. You might even have a rifle drop to try and trade that back out if they do so, please. Because again, last round of the half, there's no worry with spending every penny you have. And that's exactly what Luminosity have done, but still have not got the best of buys. Heroic show early presence down towards this B site. That AWP is swapped back in the hands of Nico as expected. And they'll be setting up outside of the A main position for now. Still Freiburg lurking on Ivy as he has been doing. But you can see how far back Freiburg is, how fearful he is of these aggressive setups that Luminosity have been running. He doesn't want to walk into any kind of untradeable battle. As now Heroic looks to regain control of the map. Luminosity already in main. The flashback perfect, but Neckers finds one. Double trade from Massilian, and now it's on for Heroic.
Henny's blindsided. A trio of frags here from the in-game leader of Heroic. That A site has crumbled, and obviously the 15th round means they're going to play for this. Freiburg tries to section them off with both shots and a Molotov, but they will go past regardless. Lucas just gunning for this bomb site, and Nico should have already seen his shoulder as he does move in. So Freiburg's there to easy clean it. And to Yell, what can you do? Drop Massilian first, 3 more to find. Time, also his enemy. And the lack of a kit could spell disaster for his clutch attempt. He will go gunning forward. They're going to give him a little bit of space here, let him get a little closer and just try to play off of the defuse tap, because that's going to be the death of him. This is the 5th for Heroic, unless Yell does something miraculous. And enough is enough. The playtime's over. 5 rounds for Heroic here in their half. It was a fantastic start from Luminosity, and Heroic figured it out enough to get those 5 rounds on the board, and you can argue that is par for the course on Train.
Yeah, I mean, I'm impressed they managed to get 5 as well, right? Look at all those rounds. We only had 2 in a row for Heroic, and those were the final 2 of the half, and Luminosity were actually out of money. So, you know, multiple pistol wins, random coincidental rounds picked up by this Danish roster, and Swedish. But 5 is 5 regardless of how you get there, and that might just be enough for Heroic. It is Luminosity's map pick after all, so to expect them to get more rounds on the CT side than maybe some teams usually would is nothing too crazy, but a 10-5, that sounds like Train to me.
I like the forward stances that we saw from Luminosity quite often. I mean, whether it be that op and rifle setup on either box halls or over towards Ivy. We also had Steel trying to go for that deep Ivy flank one round. We've had these T-con setups in forward positions. Neck is over on E-box. Like, the depth here from Luminosity on Train has been quite nice in their defaults. And I like that because it's not always easy to get aggressive on Train as a CT, and yet I think we saw it quite often than not. Yeah,
I'd say it's alongside Nuke in the sense that, you know, even more in Nuke, you don't really need as much aggression as you do in other maps, but it's extremely difficult in the same sense. However, now with Luminosity showing a stellar CT side and a lot of proactive approaches, how is their T side going to be? They're clearly prepared on this map. I'm excited to see how that looks coming into the second half, already pressured down towards Asilian on the Ivy. Freiburg is there as well, on both sides. Luminosity back off. Regroup down towards B. 2 players already there. The bomb yet to go. Some utility from Lucas going over the top of that A site, but it's not going to be much. Only that decoy. is Luminosity. They take control down towards Pops. That early B control is not going to be where they end up.
Taps coming in from Maudie. Yell drop from above, and a second is his. Smoke eventually down, but no kills have been found for Luminosity until this very moment. Lucas connects one to the head of Asilian. Freiberg's trying to connect one back through the train yard, so they're still going to be at split here by the CTs. There's attention in all directions, and Nico's mag goes dry. All 3 CTs coming in from this Z position, and Henny needs to get them all. 45 seconds left on the clock, and he is just so overwhelmed. It is Heroic with the second pistol, and that's crucial for their comeback.
Well, we already know they're good at winning pistol rounds, but maybe not the first of the half in normal ways. Modi, great round from him, getting a couple of nice taps to start off this thing for a Heroic and a big 5-on-3, but it still gets close. Luckily enough, they will get it. So 6-10, no bomb plant for Luminosity. You can expect this second round forces. Henny saves for the AWP. Everyone else puts in a pistol and armor with utility on some. Mainly steel. Smoke double flash, and Asilian, that's going to be a pitch-perfect nade. Unless they move ahead of it, they don't. They are completely destroyed by that. And the SMG only finding 1 kill off the back of it. Freiberg gets blinded. Somehow Luminosity, they're pulling this one back.
As tags up close, though. And Yell's going to round this corner first and foremost. No. They are just going to delay a little longer. He has to dodge the flash, and he gets his crosshair back just in time. 2 headshots for Easy Tag, as all of a sudden it falls onto Nico, and he is within this bomb site, and he knows Henny's in there. The stab! The stab is good! The spinal slice! Nico looking for the clutch now versus just this pistol. They've managed to bring it back in.
What a sick round from Nico as well. Knows the second player is deep in towards main, and the Asilian, he is absolutely loving that one. I barely blame him. Nico ice cold in the clutch. And actually, I think that's not even just a BM play. That's just the right play to make. It's so easy to get a backstab with a knife in the smoke, whereas a spray, what if you clip him? What if you don't kill him instantly? He gets off the bomb, his teammate kills you. It gives more time for Luminosity to react, whereas if you knife, you're going to get that every time. So, Heroic gets a little bit scary in that previous round, but they get rid of the pistols, and now they've got more to fight back against because Luminosity, barely any investment and barely any chance. Freiberg's already found the first Asilian shaky spray, but he gets away. And one by one, Luminosity start to hit the deck.
Ooh, and Freiberg even spots another player starting to leave, so poor Yell doesn't realize he's being hunted from behind. An inevitable death made near difficult thanks to the headshot. It's a good shot. But then the smoke grenade's going to allow for Freiberg to leave, if he were to choose so. Seems like he'll linger a little longer. Shoot through smoke, Lucas. Do it.
I love how Freiberg checked that dumpster on his left because of the whole...
Yeah, the whole
debacle.
First half
thing. Yeah, debacle's good word for that. Not going to be falling for that again. Luminosity, I don't expect too much from this round. I do like how they go towards Ivy, knowing that Freiberg is that dedicated Ivy player and he is low, but Freiberg has made the very clever decision of not committing to any aggressive angles. He just holds passive, waits for contact. He can easily get a shot off here and fall back. It's possible Luminosity pre-fire this position, in which case he'll be dead. But if not, then Freiberg might be able to get some information and fade back, letting his team do the dirty work.
Yeah, and they've already got this distance put in towards the bomb site. Nobody all too close, so this should be a flawless one unless he gets a shot towards Asilian or Freiberg, and neither will face him first, which means Heroic have grabbed 8. Now, that round, relatively straightforward. The one previous got shaky. Very scary there. Could have been an upset to the momentum of Heroic, but they'll have it moving into the gun rounds, which do start now.
It's nice to see smiles on their faces as well on the side of Heroic, being down a couple of rounds, but now knowing any game is winnable. We're still in this one. However, this buy is going to be a bit of a mess. 3 SMGs, huge benefits if they win it, because they're going to upgrade to rifles, but they need to keep players alive to do that. Will Luminosity give them the satisfaction? Flash into main, control taken from Heroic, and look at the... Ooh, okay. I was going to say, look at the difference. When Luminosity took A main control, they snuck in, they were being creepy. When Heroic take it, it's flashes, it's Molotovs, it's deep smokes. They're making their presence very, very clear.
Steel knows they're here. They just made noise. Steel knows that somebody just dropped a gun next to him, and sure enough, there are 2 players near, but he makes noise himself, and Easy Tag can't use the most of that Q. Luckily, Asilian was still nearby, so there is a trade frag going here to the way of Heroic, but unfortunately for them, they've lost B in the meantime. means Luminosity have most certainly found themselves around. Now remember, Heroic come into this one with a bunch of SMGs, and the fact that they can just save 2 rifles right now means they'll be fine in the next buy. And it's going to give you a prime opportunity to possibly try and reset Luminosity.
I don't think there's much point in hunting here. And I think Freiburg has realized that as well. That round is done, and while he will be looking for anyone trying to exit towards this B site, he's not going to be gifted anything. Is he really going to do this? Oh my god, Freiburg. Smoke on the bomb. Do they realize he's jumping right on this?
It's a little short. Oh my god, Freiburg! No! What a denial in the last second.
Oh dear.
That's ridiculous. That's a heartbreaker, but you have to laugh it off because it's something that should just never happen.
Props to him for giving that a go. I respect it. I respect it. Oh my god. I'm not going to forget that for a while.
Yeah, that was good.
AWP up for either side here for Heroic. Back out of the madness and maybe into a little bit more. S-tags up on that CT AWP as the SMGs have turned to rifles. And that 11th round for Luminosity has put them in a spot to try and close this game before Heroic get a little more of a streak. They had that early pistol conversion, but where will the rifle rounds go? That's the question. Nice Molotov mod. He's going to have to run, but you can't run from Neckers.
Cillian picks up a crucial kill towards Neckers there. That's going to give him ladder control, and it sections the bomb off. It also draws back the attention of Lucas, which means suddenly there's less information for Luminosity towards B site. That's an audible reload. So Cillian knows there's still somebody up here. I would really like for Heroic to actually take upper box halls so that way they'll have a position and info above Cillian, allowing for him to fixate more so on the A site, because what's really the liability here is Ivy, and Freiburg knows it. At least he doesn't have to worry about ladder room at this moment, but the T-Con walkout could be very problematic for him. But here's the reinforcements. It comes in the form of a rotation from Nico through Z.
As the smokes hit the ground, Luminosity going to show their face. Yell, taking Freiburg's off. Lucas follows up to Cillian as well in the pop dog, so the reposition there is not good enough, and Henny even going to find further frags. S-tag is all that remains, and he is too far removed from the action. There's no way he should be going for anything with this AWP. Maybe a Ninja, but he's got no kit. So hold on to the AWP when your money is already this low. Heroic's economy has been battered down after 2 rounds in a row from Luminosity. The only player with cash is Cillian on 4,500. Everyone else is going to be $2,000 or less, around that mark at least, 2,200. And so this AWP is extremely important, and Luminosity have realized it. They know the last player alive is the AWP. They know he was a solo B player as well. It's fairly clear, and they're going to hunt him. He's got to be quick, but the timing. Steel even finishes him off, and doesn't take the double AWP, but does take the round.
Good enough for them, I'm sure. It does clear the ability for S-tag to do anything all too crazy alone in the next. One single op can always make a difference. So I'm sure they'll be happy to knock him down a peg. And to add themselves 1, 12-8. Back into the pistols is Heroic. Not a good look for them. They'll have a flashbang for Cillian, so I'd love to see some kind of a flood forward off of this. Or you just anticipate this A hit, right? Stay kerneled on the bomb site and then pop off.
They got this flash set up, so Cillian ready for contact to be made. Freiburg is going to be the first man to face. And he's going to face soon because Steel is sneaking around like a snail, silent, and into the site gets 2. Flashbang, little delayed here, and Steel's even going to find a triple before he eventually gets dealt with. And in all of this madness, Luminosity have their entire team on the bomb site, so it's no problem to deal with the last remaining 2 P250s. And as a result, 13 rounds to 8. Luminosity crawling their way to a victory here on Train.
Yeah, quite literally crawling in this one. Steel very patient on his walk-up. So many players all around him, though. It's a matter of time that he dies. And good on him for getting 3 alone. Definitely set Luminosity to a very safe situation. But this round, not so safe for either lineup because everybody's got a gun. Still just 1 op in play, and it belongs to Henny. An initial 4-man setup towards A site for Heroic. Be careful on Ivy. If Yell gets this killed, then that's a wide gap versus the defense. You can see this forward positioning here within the train yard. Gives them cover from each direction, but if it gets split, those spots are so susceptible. So you want to make sure that no matter what, you maintain one side of the A bomb site. And not having anybody in the ladder room, it's not going to make your job any easier, but staying kerneled and closer together does allow for trades.
The thing is, these constant resmokes are great at delaying Luminosity, but they're coming so early in the round. We have a Molotov and a smoke left up for Heroic with 2 flashbangs, and a minute for Luminosity to actually make a play or a fake. It's going to be the full commitment here towards the outer yard, with a player in the pop dog, a man down the Ivy, and 3 in main. This is certainly an A commitment here from the Brazilians. It's going to have to come down to raw gunfights here for Heroic, and they've got to win every single one. Sicilian starts things off. There's a man advantage, but he gets caught jumping by the AWP of Henny. Modi on the site as well tries to shut this one down, but with 30 seconds left, Luminosity need to get out on this site. They need to hurry up, but they are finding the kills, even though they don't have the time. And Bravo fires back for 2. Bomb in the open, rotation from the B side, and it is the solo man to try and save the day.
Deep Molotov's going to prevent the peek, and the smoke could allow for the exit. He goes for the spam and nearly gets it in, but it's the bomb instead that's down. Nico, as opposed to going around, will go up and over, just trying to find some kind of an angle here. He needs one of these 2 kills in order to force the 1v1, but Yell has snuck back around bomb site, and now that's an accidental tap that could cost him. Nico predicts the first peek, and with 12 HP, he falls. Lucas sealing the deal in this round, and Luminosity continuing on their map choice. This is them establishing a T side that is just a little too much to beat at the moment.
And that one round, I think, may just win them the game, because Heroic, that was their last-ditch buy. That was everything put into it. Look at what we've got left. They saved some money knowing that we can fight this back from 15-8. It's just not going to be easy, but they want a little bit of a chance to win this one. So Scout, 4 pistols. But surely no hope here in the Heroic camp as Luminosity are just running wild, and they will continue. Lucas finishing off the last, starting this current, and Neckers is even going to join with 2 quick taps, a spray to the 3rd, S-Tag trading from the back of the site. But Luminosity, they still have a grasp over this round.
Got that scout back as well, right? It's playing at a distance, but Neckers, he's already taken so many heads, and he's going to hunt another. Nico has been in this clutch position many times, but not today, my friend. Not this time around. It is, of course, denied once more, and Luminosity on 15 have established at the very least overtime in the opening matchup. But with the way things have been going, Hugo, I just don't see Heroic coming back in on this CT side. I feel like we will most certainly be transitioning to Mirage sooner rather than later.
And how fantastic is this Steel, who recently left Team Liquid of his own accord, saying he didn't think he was at the level to be playing on this team at the moment. Currently 24 kills, top of the Luminosity side, having a ridiculous amount of impact here in the first map of this semi-final.
And it's not the first time we've seen him perform heavy on this event.
Yeah.
Right, we've seen big things from him, big things from Neckers, a consistency from Lucas and Henny. Right now it's a 5 versus 4 playing into the favor of the Brazilians. The Shadow plays Modi before he even realizes what's up. Sicilian looks to get himself in, but a collateral will do the job. Back again into the even 3v3. Sicilian now revealed into the depths of this corner on Ivy, but Steel strikes nearby surprise. It's still denied thanks to Nico's position, and here we go. Heroic not done yet, so it seems.
A big round from that AWP. It's been S-Tag a lot of the time towards his B site that's not been able to join in on the action. Think about how many times Luminosity have gone for these fast A plays, and he knows it. Nice collateral. But yeah, we've really not seen any B play here from Luminosity. And they've not needed to do so. They don't need any depth. Right now, they're just hitting their shots. And yeah, nice setups, good executes, nice map control, but nothing too crazy, no fakes. Now, they're going to go back towards that B site, it seems.
I feel like that's quite very Luminosity-esque. It's just straightforward CS. You're hitting kills, landing headshots.
And, I mean, this roster change of bringing in Henny and Lucas, alongside, obviously, Steel added just a little bit prior to that, is clearly been a fantastic addition. Not to disrespect Showtime or PKL. Great in their own right. Showtime, obviously, getting extremely unlucky with some of his roster changes. But this has reignited a fire, a light inside Luminosity. And they are looking to burn their way to this grand final. One more round needed. Outside this B site they sit, 2 players waiting in the wings in the spawn, potentially going to stop exactly what I just questioned, a fake, a couple of smokes toward that A site maybe, before we see the real commitment down this round.
I feel like this is one of the most tedious executions we've seen from Luminosity in terms of utility and whatnot. So they're going into a set piece, trying to show the depth of their playbook. And currently, with EasyTag not seeing anybody over towards T-Con, I feel like they're still going to lend their hands towards B, where things have been now confirmed because Bomb hits the dirt. And Henny, well, he's got himself into a great position, but he can't flick fast enough to deal with Asilian. Lucas does strike from above, and Freiburg then trades back in as the CTs seal the deal again. Here, it is the 25th round, and it's theirs.
I feel like I counted Heroic out a couple of rounds ago, but I definitely shouldn't have done so. That's 2 in a row here, and confident rounds as well, not just coming down to the 1v1s. And execute from Luminosity, not finding any success because Heroic one step ahead and hitting their shots on that B bomb site. Luminosity finally calling their second pause.
And even despite, of course, the utility going over at the A site as meant to be a serving fake, because the Heroic side knew that there was nobody inside of T-Con, right? We get this stronghold at the B bomb site. Yeah. Nobody really moves off of it. They just lock down the entries. Henny had a chance, but just as he predicted the peak from Z, we got that simultaneous up-close shot, and he just wasn't fast enough on his fingers.
Half buy here for Luminosity. Apart from Henny, he's fully invested, which is going to come back to bite him if he wants that AWP for sure. Do have one on S-Tag, so maybe Luminosity can steal that away in this round, but it's Nico up close on B. We've got that rotate through connector from Asilian thanks to the early footsteps heard. But no close positioning here from Heroic, and I like that. They know that Luminosity have pistols, so they don't want to play in the Pop Dog or in the T-Con. However, it will be close down ramp when Nico gets pressured. Only 1 frag. Asilian has his back, but he's already dead, so Asilian left out to dry. Henny running low on ammo, and Asilian somehow doubled it up and kept alive as the bomb plant comes in. 2 players stand on Luminosity to keep them in this round.
One of which does come down ramp, doesn't connect a shot at all. And there it is, steal denied by EasyTag, which means we are 1 round closer to overtime. You and I have not had the privilege of casting overtime this weekend, Hugo.
No.
I think this second semifinal would be a fantastic time to start. 4 more to go. Nice play by Asilian here, just lock things down. Poor Henny, while his magazine goes dry, it's never a good time. Dies accordingly, and here we have it. Luminosity back in with a purchase, so despite Henny fully investing in the last round, he will still, of course, get that AWP. Drops the Galil to Nekas, picks up a smoke for his own accord, and they're going to go for the boost over top of it. This could very well draw in CTs, and it does, but he misses what was 1 chance and 1 chance alone, because now EasyTag is on guard. But, oh, I love the reposition. Another missed shot, however, is not going to help, or rather, not a kill shot. Freiburg still taken down to 28 HP.
Steel's kind of awkwardly positioned here. The Molotov's going to finally spread and take him down. I was wondering if that was eventually going to happen. So combined with the damage done to Henny earlier on by the AWP of S-Tag, this is now turning into a bit of an awkward round. But the timing here from Yell, Freiburg's low. This is a free kill. And oh, S-Tag's making all the noise. That's going to distract Yell from the actual target, but that target has left the scene. Freiburg rotating round through the spawn. This is such a big opening for Yell. No one's watching it. There's Mori up in the heaven, but I think he might just catch the timing. Surely he sees the arm, and there it is. Yell's opened it up. They can now commit towards the A site, but the bomb still working his way around ramp. Heroic have been completely bamboozled. Hook, line, and sinker, assuming Luminosity commit to this B site, which looks to be the case.
Poor Nico. He thought the Flames would keep them at bay, but sure enough, they still posted. Now Freiburg clears the flank, which is going to leave us into a near even 3v3 because even each team has a player tagged low. Although the plant certainly plays into the hands of Luminosity, and they've lost a player. Oh, they've lost 2. EasyTag again coming into life. 3 kills for him in this round. Lucas has to clutch against 3 players. There's the first from the sky, but Asilian denies the follow-up frag, and 3 rounds the difference. Heroic not going down without this fight, and we've seen it in retakes. We've seen it in holds. They have it all, Hugo.
Yeah, and they have EasyTag. This is the man who's been doing all the work. Multiple kills, sorry. We had that collateral down Ivy. We've had 3K rounds back to back. He's been locking it in with this AWP. No need for a double up when you have S-Tag here on the CT side. 19 kills for him, 20 from the captain. Cillian top of the board here for Heroic, and Steel slowing down in the latter few. That may have made all the difference, and S-Tag's doing exactly that once again. Plucks Neckers off top of the train, and now the burst from Popdog going to be denied by the smoke. The fast A play from Luminosity will not be happening here.
Convincing utility usage from Heroic is what does turn Luminosity around.
The big problem with Luminosity not being able to commit to that fast play from not only Neckers dying and the smoke and the Popdog is they have no nades at all. They would have loved to go for a fast contact A play, but now they've got to do it all with nothing.
So the call is to go silently towards Ivy. Freiburg's been here since the get-go. And they did find that opening in the previous round, right? Recall how Yell just crept his way into the bomb site. Yell is most notably the Opera at this moment, and Henny's going to take entry. On an AK of all things, but a competent rifler, a capable player. Heroic, they're going to draw their way back from Ivy. Now this does put S-Tag in a very weird position. He does have the cover of a teammate, and of course Maudie is still above. A similar position as to the last round, so they may predict this actually, because Luminosity are going to have this fresh on their minds. This is how things went just one round prior. So Maudie shouldn't overface. If anything, yeah, tuck yourself away. Because you understand what's gone on here. You understand where Luminosity are at. But with 20 seconds left on the clock, finally the bomb's going to come in. And no, not even yet, because Maudie clears the bomb site. And nobody else is here to play. Crucial kills from Maudie. He strikes down from above. And we still continue forward with yet another round here for Heroic.
That's so impressive from Maudie, because not only does he have to watch the Ivy side of obviously the position that S-Tag isn't holding, but he's also got to make sure that no one's coming out of main and splitting in through E-Box, for example, because S-Tag's so double scoped in on that Popdog that it leaves the site completely open. Look at all these positions that Maudie has to cover, and he still finds both kills. Great work here from the lone Swede on that A site. It's now Heroic 15-13. 2 rounds away, and this shouldn't be too much of a hassle. We have the saved guns and a couple of deagles around them. Luminosity don't have a full buy. Fantastic utility coming in from Nico, as that's going to completely wreck Yell. Already unarmored, and now 30 points of health. He's still going to go for it.
Good fadeaway headshot from Cillian. Flashbang's here to help, and so is Nico. Everybody's blind, everybody's near dead. Steel survives into the bomb site, doesn't want to prioritize the plant. Could still feel himself out, seeing as he knows there's players behind, but unfortunately, during that time, Heroic had just encapsulated him within this bomb site. So, the 30th round, Mr. Byron, we have gone the distance.
And that was not what I expected coming into this game. After seeing the dominance that was held in favor of Luminosity just 5 rounds ago, this has been a massive comeback from Heroic in the latter stage of regulation, and we may be going a little bit further. Luminosity, second last pause going through. I'm not sure if Heroic have one or none left. They definitely had at least 3.
Remember, no additional overtime, no additional timeouts, excuse me, rewarded for OT.
Yeah.
So their position will be a byproduct of their decisions here in regulation. What's the buy look like? Decent enough. Is there an extra gun on the ground?
Nope.
No.
That was the save from 2 rounds ago where Steel and Yell both stayed alive after time.
Another timeout.
This is the last. This is Heroic's final pause. And I mean, this is there's no better time to take it. Again, a timeouts and overtime. I'd love to know how much teams already use them. I can't think of many teams that actually, you know, even with timeouts, use them in OT, because it's so mad, it's so fast-paced, it's so random.
Which is why Luminosity should just show dominance and take their last pause too. You know, back and forth.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you can take more than 1 in a round.
I think you can take all 4.
Really?
I don't know. I didn't read the rule book.
Well, let's see what happens here. Round 30. Luminosity's map picking the first map of this best of 3. Winner goes on to face North in the grand final. All on the line here. Luminosity's first LAN event back with this new roster. Heroic, very similar story.
Good Job on Asilian in order to keep his team composed. I mean, they have so much experience. I don't think anyone here for Heroic is panicking. But like you mentioned, right? First event for him and in the in-game leadership role of all positions.
But it's been the battle of the IGLs. Asilian is also fragging crazy right now. Top of the team, 22 kills.
Just like Steel.
Yeah.
Deep smokes are going to cause Freiburg to lose vision for only a moment, and as he deploys a smoke of his own, vision denied for Henny. So no opening pick just yet. Remember, there's 3 Ts set up here for Luminosity just on the other side of this. Bomb floating from Steel. You could cut the tension with a knife in this round. Server near silent, other than, of course, the grenades going back and forth. And here comes the walk-up.
Freiburg just wrapped all the way around. They have no nades, they have no info on Ivy. Modi's not back in the heaven to cover that, so it's all down to S-Tag here with the AWP. He's got to find a couple of kills here, but the smoke wards him off. This allows Luminosity to wrap B. They have the bomb coming down ramp. This is a split through the CT spawn, and with 2 players on the site, they have to work it out now. They have to get the information. 20 seconds left. This bomb still stuck on the ramp. It's been mollied off. Modi's waiting for the flank to come round, but Nico's already shut down the first, and there's the bomb being spotted. Asilian with a massive kill, and that's it. It's surely going to be done. There's no one near to pick up the bomb, and there's so many players alive for Heroic. We are going to go to OT in map number 1.
No matter what they try at this point, kills to not make a difference. They try to pull something out here in the 30th round. I do like that, right? Something fresh, something new. They had the wraparound as well. That one smoke to the right side of Ivy completely denies S-Tag any impact, and they needed to rely on his AWP towards that A site.
And the only way that works on the top of that as well is Luminosity know how much Freiburg has been giving up Ivy in those 5-on-5s.
Yeah.
How much they've been able to sneak Yell through into the A site and try and take that fight to Modi. While not always successful, it's information that Luminosity play off the back of it. And as a result, it actually comes back to hurt them because they leave it too late.
Exactly, way too late, because there was still, what, a 2v3, 2v2 type situation on that B site. Even if those players on ramp and above get them some entries, if the plant can come in, then you don't even need the bomb site in full control because you do have so many players coming over. But alas, dear friends, we have arrived in overtime. MR3, $16,000.
And only 1 AWP per team. Not surprisingly on the side of Heroic, though, because it is S-Tag that's just been the absolute linchpin of this entire second half. Luminosity on the CT side, no doubt they'll pull in a double AWP. But for now, it's just Henny. Flashes and smokes over the top. We're going back to a standard execute. It's been a while since Luminosity have tested the waters. Now they're going to burst through. Everyone's smoked off here for Heroic, so no early fights coming through from the CT side, but through the smoke, Modi's going to take that man advantage.
At this moment, they're going to try and pop up on the B site. Nico close, has no cover, and despite trying to stay continuous in the spray, he doesn't get himself a second kill. Asilian will. Over the top of the train yard, this allows for Modi to start gunning forward, but Nekis silently sneaks forward and he tries to disrupt the back line. Henny and Lucas get simultaneous kills, and just like that, this B site falls. Freiburg left up, 1 versus 3. And he's already started it off with an immediate kill to Nekis. This lets him close the gap and get up close. It's Lucas next in line. Henny survives above with a Molotov. Freiburg a kit, no smoke. And so things suddenly get a little quiet. Freiburg's trying to clear corners, but now he needs to realize the man is just beneath. And from there, Lucas wins. 2 health the difference, and the first round in overtime belongs to Luminosity.
I mean, that was a done deal before Freiburg even pushed it, and that Molotov would have sealed his fate, almost guaranteed. Unless there was a smoke dropped on the ground. Possible, but unlikely. So Luminosity, the round that they wish they got just 5 or 6 ago. Because again, it was a 7-round comeback from Heroic to actually get us to OT. When Luminosity hit 15 rounds, but now look at the pace. Oh, look at the pace. They're already out. Nekis is finding that first kill. He lets 2 players walk by, but still doesn't give a damn. 2 frags in response. Nekis is on fire, and it's only Nico left standing. Luminosity want to drag their way through.
Excellent play from Nekis, again utilizing that top of the train yard. Justified excitement. Pumped is he. And we've seen great things from him again, right? We've seen big hard carries from Nekis. We've seen strong showings from Steel. The consistency from the Twins. Like an angel of death, he stands above the bomb site. swooping and slicing down onto the heads of Heroic, who all of a sudden have found themselves at a loss. Sure, you had a great CT side in regulation, but overtime has not bared the same fruits. Suddenly, they are 2 rounds down. What happened to CT overtime? They must be left wondering, because it's been so quick. And then just like that, the tempo completely changes. The pace completely switched. Things fall silent once more.
Not to take away Heroic's massive comeback to get them to this point, but take into account how many rounds of those were ecos from Luminosity, were screwed economies used to players surviving or dying after time. And now with everything at their fingers, money, guns, nades, you know what's coming? Rounds for Luminosity. 2 taken, and a 3rd on the horizon here as they look at this A site once again. 2 players down Ivy. We got that triple main split that we've seen before from Luminosity. Double commitment towards B for Heroic, and very deep within the site as well, so their rotations are going to take some time. We're going to need some big kills coming through. This position, usually with an AWP, but Freiburg's now there with a rifle. His last flashbang going through, and now the push coming out.
It's this deep ladder control that Heroic are really relying on. They're giving up this space, knowingly, inviting them inwards, and Henny over the shoulder does catch Freiburg first. Nekes is just lurking, looming, and trying to find some kind of a kill, but nobody's there to cover bomb, so Steel gets the job done himself, and yet there's still a second player in the ladder room. That's where Nico suddenly has to come into play, and he does so by getting double kills from Z. Now, Modi strikes. And it's Lucas down for the count, 10 seconds on the clock, and Henny gives crucial cover. This is being traded back and forth, but the Ivy peek from Tag misses its mark. A second shot not needed. Henny's still here, and he knows where the last man is, but he just can't take him down. Heroic with a lifeline.
And Nico saving it. He's been always on that B site this entire game, and talking about how much Luminosity have been going for those A plays. All he's been left to do is rotate into undoable situations. However, for the first time now in overtime, it's Nico to shine.
Oh, it
4
was
kills.
He took him out at the knees and then through the head of Yell. Nico on this Z rotate has been either completely hit or miss. Rounds where he comes in with nothing, and rounds where he comes in with clutches. And while he didn't necessarily do it all the time, he does it in overtime when it absolutely matters most.
And yeah, exactly, right? We already talked about how Luminosity just took 2 rounds on that T side. They struggled on the T side, and that's why they're in OT for the first place. They had the lead. And so it's very important to see Heroic find that final round of the initial overtime half. Now we head into the second, as we predicted, double AWP straight in for Luminosity. They want everything to do with that.
And the beauty of 16K, right, is that they're not going to get punished even if these double ops die. They can buy it all 3 times. Whether you think that's a good or a bad thing is a matter of subjectivity. It's a good thing for Luminosity, though, that's for damn sure.
It's gotten them this far.
There will still be a responding opper in the form of Tag.
Ooh. Steel's been here so many times, but never has he committed past the smoke.
That's true.
He now has a molly, so he can still get out, and plus team support can help him, but no one's even close. No one's nearby. He's fully committed to this position. However, that's not necessarily a bad thing, and luckily enough, the timing. He moves in, and they turn around. He can strike from behind, sneaking in, silent, but deadly.
Oh, no! Oh, no, indeed! Freiburg TKs! He finishes the job. Despite Tag getting the kill and denying what could have been an incredible flank, that is a bit of an oops. Still now, grenades are going to go up and over into the A-bomb site as Yell now gets confirmation that there's nobody B, so this has to be the ladder to A play, and all of a sudden Luminosity are locking this down. Henny from above strikes death into Asilian. Freiburg having to make up for mistakes with a 1v4. If not, it is double OT or nothing. 15 seconds on the clock, a smoke onto the connector, and 10 seconds means he needs to prioritize plant, but he's running out of chances. He's going to try to do it up close, and they all flip forward. He denies the first, the second, and there's still just enough time. He's got it, but he doesn't whip around. Luminosity has secured at least a double OT, and after the fact, he goes down.
That was such a nice try. I thought that was over. He expects to get peeked on the final plant, but the AWP hiding within the connector. What a close round from Freiburg. Dear, oh dear. And look at this. The third player doesn't even peek at all. The third player just hides. He gets off the bomb. Yeah. What is this from Lucas? Lucas, what are you doing? He has an M249, Connor, in overtime in the semi-finals. What on earth?
Keota. Let's see what he can do with it. He's already at a man disadvantage, but luckily his brother's here to pick up the pieces. The op is cemented in the bomb site. Close it with an ace. He's got himself 3, and he's got confirmation on a man behind the box. Henny is going to die to easy tag. There's still footing here for Heroic. Map 1 still in the air, but Steel as well sits in the skies. 2v2 and an M249 still in the equation, but a no-scope from Yell drops bomb. A minute on the clock for Asilian to work, and this one's over. Luminosity picking up map 1.
Oh my god, I wanted to see that M249 so bad, but Luminosity don't give me the satisfaction. 5 AWP kills in the final round. We talk about this double AWP on the CT side, and they show it off. They get the victory with it, and how good must that feel? To throw away a 7 map points there in pre-overtime, only to pick it up in the second half.
Man, the fact that Heroic can even barrel back just goes to say, right, they've got that core essence in them. They have the great calls from Asilian. I think we had sick movement there in mid-round rotations. Awesome play by Luminosity, I'd say, in that 30th round in an attempt to throw something new. Like, the depth on Luminosity's CT side was worth talking about. And then we saw these really cool plays coming out on T side too. So props to them. I think they deserve their win. Could have been a lot sooner, but hell, we got an exciting matchup, so who's to complain?
I mean, that was only map 1. That's the craziest part, and Luminosity won their map pick, so we still have a chance of hitting a 3-map series, and after that overtime, I would not be surprised. So, ladies and gentlemen, do not move a muscle. We will be back in just a few minutes with map number 2.